Hello there, everybody. This is Mel Allen. Baseball's beginning to boogie. And away we go. In San Francisco, Dodger Blue comes busting through. In New York, the gooseless Yanks make up for pranks. In Boston, it's Carl Yaz and all that jazz. In Houston, Cedeno's back in the Astro attack. And veteran Don Sutton just keeps on strutting. Headlines and highlights next on This Week in Baseball. Brought to you by Gillette. When it comes to personal grooming, most people come to Gillette, makers of new improved Gillette Track 2. Micro-smooth edges make it a better shave.
Sold out again.
The new improved Gillette Track 2, please.
Yeah, say, who needs improved when these twin blades will do?
Track 2 has micro-smooth edges. Makes the blade smoother than ever.
Shave better than these?
Better, safer, smoother, and comfortable.
Comfort, schmumfort, you don't have... But...
Do you have the new improved Gillette Track 2?
Improved Track 2? Improved Track 2?
The new improved Gillette Track 2. Micro-smooth edges make it a better shave.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Hello, Constable.
Hi, Dad.
I heard a rumor you finally passed the bar exam.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Frank?
Frank will have the prime ribs and a couple of Lowenbrow.
Prime ribs? Lowenbrow? What are you doing?
Buying dinner for the guy who put me through law school.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Just the good friends.
Good friends.
At New York's Yankee Stadium, baseball reflected the gold standard. Gold gloves like Greg Nettles and Chris Chambliss. Just watch Chris at first base. Of course, the Yankees spread the wealth around in defense of their world title. Juan Benitez. Mickey Rivers. Reggie Jackson. And solid gold at the hot corner, Greg Nettles. For years, Nettles was underrated, but no more. He's still not used to all the applause, but he's learning. But against Texas, no one had to teach Greg Nettles how to drive in runs. Deep to right center, it's going, it is gone. Home run number 4 in a perfect 4-for-4 day. Nettles is about the only Yankee hitting much, but New York still got off to a good start thanks to arms like Tommy John. 4 wins in his first 4 starts, and his grounders don't even tax that blue chip defense. As for Louisiana Lightning, Ron Guidry, he proved he was back on target against the Rangers with his second consecutive complete game victory. But all that glitters doesn't always turn to gold. In relief, the Yankees turned to dirt, nickname of Dick Tidrow. Goose Gossage damaged his thumb in a clubhouse scuffle that could sideline him for 8 weeks, could cost the champs a pennant. Well, in Boston, the folks of Fenway figure the Yankees owe the Red Sox at least one pennant after the near misses the past 2 years. Don Zimmer's demolition company entertained manager Whitey Herzog's Kansas City Royals, who could feel everything falling to pieces. A modest, for instance, Dwight Evans sure looks like a condemned man in this Royal rundown. Until KC gives him a pardon and second base. Jim Rice really enjoyed that one. Rice also enjoyed digging in against Kansas City pitching. 8 hits and 11 at-bats as Boston blasted the Royals with 25 runs in 3 games. Heavy hitting like that is a tradition at Fenway, handed down from Ted Williams to Carl Yastrzemski and now Jim Rice.
I think by playing with a guy like Yastrzemski, been around 18, 19 years, and being on second base and watch how he set up a pitcher, even though a pitcher tries to set him up, it's going to help me a lot. It's learning from the older guys.
39-year-old Carl Yastrzemski just keeps moving on. The only way to slow him down is to slow down the pitcher. And there's no slowing down Fred Lynn, off to his best start since his spectacular rookie year of 1975. 13 games, a league-leading 7 homers, 15 runs batted in. The early fruits of an off-season fitness program.
Well, this is the first time I was on an extensive weight program, and I worked with the Nautilus program since early November, and hopefully it's going to give me a little bit more endurance and a little bit more strength.
Endurance has been Boston's problem in past seasons. The Red Sox continue to hope that reliever Bill Campbell will come back to stabilize the bullpen. If he doesn't, it could be another exhausting summer for starters like Mike Torres, who will have to complete a lot of starts. Torres completed this one against the Royals for a 4-hit shutout, as Boston held the early lead over the Yankees in the American League East. In the American League West, the California Angels have been teaching a lesson to everybody. A is for Angels, Autry 2. B is for baseball, and C for Carew. So see for yourself, folks. In 16 games, Carew hit .413. California took first place with 10 straight wins, adding up the hits and runs quicker than Einstein could count. Even an upstart can teach him. Willie Mays Aikens has a most honored namesake and bright back. In 10 games, 5 home runs, 13 RBIs. He studies under California's master of run production, Don Baylor. E.G. bases loaded. Going, and it is gone. Basic economics, 1 swing, 4 runs. After 16 games, Baylor led the majors with 23 RBIs. At that rate, 230 RBIs per year? Man alive. Frank Tanana's working on something less academic, putting the zip back on his fastball, and it looks like he just might solve the problem. And any theories that Nolan Ryan might have lost something on his Hummer are now discredited. In 16 2/3 innings, 1 run, 5 hits, 22 strikeouts, and 2 victories. Numbers like that have everyone applying pencil to paper in Anaheim, even figuring out what the magic number is for clinching the division. Now, how about that? Now for this week's Volkswagen quiz. Oriole slugger Lee May blasted 2 homers in 1 game against Milwaukee, the 34th time he'd hit 2 or more in his career. But Babe Ruth holds the American League record 71 times. Can you name the player who holds the National League record for most games with 2 or more homers?
That Volkswagen Rabbit really handles. Is that why you're driving it?
Not really.
Well, is it because it can go from 0 to 50 in 8.3 seconds? But then why are you driving a Rabbit?
Because it has more headroom than my Rolls Royce.
Is that such a big deal?
It is. If you're Will Chamberlain.
Volkswagen does it again.
In the National League East, the Philadelphia Phillies took over first place and began to feel kind of loosey-goosey. On the other hand, New York Mets, like Richie Hebner, felt down in the dumps, slipping into last place. Hebner came to the Mets because Pete Rose feels like Ben Franklin did about Philadelphia. But Rose didn't come to fly kites. Here he grounds shortstop Doug Flynn. The Mets got the double play, but briefly lost the shortstop. But they'd already mailed away for Frank Tavares, special delivery from Pittsburgh, in a swap for Tim Foley. Tavares jumped right to the top of the lineup and cut loose against the Phillies. Tavares may be just what New York needs to spark up its offense, but will his glove short-circuit the defense? Well, against Philadelphia, he looked quite at home at shortstop. On the other hand, former Met pitcher Nino Espinosa is feeling quite at home in a Philly uniform, especially against his old friends that he's already beaten twice. Of course, the pitcher has no fonder friend than a strong defense, and that's just what the Phillies displayed against New York. The speed of the antelopes and the strength of the bull. Power hitters like Greg Luzinski and Mike Schmidt are still fixtures in the Philly offense. But it's the newcomers that have infected this town with a new strain of April pennant fever. Not only Pete Rose, but this man, Manny Trillo, formerly the second baseman of the Chicago Cubs. In his first 12 games, Trillo hit .391 for his new team. Philadelphia stretched its winning streak to 6 and New York's losing streak to 6. With relief help from Tug McGraw, the Mets' own gotta-believe man of yesteryear. But it's this year the Phils figure to atone for past failures, and the city of brotherly love is filled with believers. In the National League West, in case you haven't heard, Something is happening under the dome in Houston. For one, big crowds are coming out, or in, to see some exciting baseball. And Bill Burden's Astros have taken a surprise hold on first place. Talent from the likes of James Rodney Richard was a known factor. Last year's strikeout king leads the majors again in Ks. The bullpen of Joaquin Andujar and this man, Joe Sambito, was less known, but has really sparkled. Keep score, and you'll see that pitching is the key in Houston, but the quick bats and fast feet of men like Terry Poole are also critical. Most critical, though, is the health of Cesar Cedeno, Houston's only major power threat. An injury shelved him for several days, but he's back, looking strong and eager. The Astros are a lean and hungry bunch, always chipping and scratching for that one important run. It was frustrating for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who couldn't get a break from Houston or the umpires. The Bucks suffered 3 straight one-run losses to the Astros. This one decided by Houston's main man, Jose Cruz, in the bottom of the 10th. A year ago, Reds manager Sparky Anderson predicted Houston would finish ahead of either Cincinnati or L.A., but the Astros quickly fizzled. Now it's a new year, and the Astros are soaring. You have to wonder, is that a toy cannon or the early rumblings of a pennant contender? Up in San Francisco, Candlestick Park was the site of early season pennant rumblings. These days, Candlestick is sure to shake any time the Giants get together with their old rivals, even though the Los Angeles Dodgers disclaim any hard feelings.
I have some good friends on the Giants. They're a very talented ball club. But I know that when we get together to play, there's an air of electricity in the stands that is not there when we play a lot of other ball clubs. Now I think there is a resurgence of, if rivalry is the proper term, rivalry. But I think it exists more in the stands than it does on the field.
But what goes on in the stands carries down to the field. Vida Blue says, get it on. Which is what the Giants and Dodgers quickly did. Bill Madlock. Steve Yeager. Jack Clark. And Bon Joshua with the gate crasher. The first Dodger-Giant contest had an old-fashioned ending. Willie McCovey batting in the bottom of the 9th. This single pumped his average up to .538. Jack Clark scores the winner. 3-2 Giants. Sweet victory was fleeting, however, as Tom Lasorda unveiled new weapons.
Darrell Thomas can play the outfield, he can play the infield. He and Gary Thomason, along with Von Joshua, are going to give us a much better bench than we had last year.
Bon Joshua's been on both sides of the fence, first as a Dodger, then as a Giant. As a 2-time Dodger, he cleared the same fence that floored him earlier, a 3-run homer to help win one game. Other Lasorda benchmen also came through in the pinch, like Manny Mota with career pinch hit number 133, which produced another Dodger win in 10 innings, 2-1. Hurler Don Sutton nailed down the final game as L.A. took 2 of 3. Now, only Don Drysdale has more Dodger career strikeouts and victories than Don Sutton. Now, back to this week's Volkswagen quiz, brought to you by the 79 Rabbit, Dasher, and Scirocco. Volkswagen does it again. Who holds the National League record for most games with 2 or more homers? Well, it's the Say Hey Kid himself, Willie Mays, who did it 63 times. Next week, Volkswagen will ask you again.
Sold out again.
The new improved Gillette Track 2, please.
Yeah, say, who needs improved when these twin blades will do?
Track 2 has micro-smooth edges. Makes the blade smoother than ever.
Shave better than these?
Better, safer, smoother, and comfortable.
Comfort, schmumfort, you don't have... But...
Do you have the new improved Gillette Track 2?
Improved Track 2. Improved Track 2.
The new improved Gillette Track 2. Micro smooth edges make it a better shave.
The Porsche 924. Except for the roll bar, harness, and fire extinguisher, it's a showroom model. What do racing drivers like about this Porsche?
It's like the car was running on rails.
It's the way that this car comes out of the turns. It's just fantastic.
The cornering, the balance. I've driven Datsun Zs, but I prefer this 924.
Racers helped design this car. Believe me, racers can tell.
What will you like about the Porsche 924? You'll never know till you try one, will you?
Who's this man? Well, it's Dave Parker, who used to wear a helmet to keep the ball out of his eye. Sometimes it's not such a bad idea. Watch. Please, Coach, chickens weren't hatched to hit. Actually, when Dave Parker's hitting, it's the pitcher who's usually chicken. How's that for staying out of his strike zone? Pitchers can be very testy, particularly about their private fortress, the mound. Some fortress. A deodorant would offer more protection. Of course, a ball player has to learn how to protect himself. This man's in serious danger. Might get his picture taken. Fact is, nobody's safe in this wild and reckless game of baseball. Even the umpires aren't safe. Who said baseball's not a contact sport? Some guys even prefer contact to scoring. Even an innocent bystander is anything but safe. Here comes the Toronto Unlimited. Say, does this state have no-fault insurance? Well, that's the way it is in the baseball jungle. Every man for himself, clawing and crawling for every inch, and sometimes there's just no justice. Just ask Dave Parker. What kind of social life is this? Well, that's why they call it hardball. Even the man in the stands can feel it. Ooh, hope that wasn't your pitching arm, pal. Sometimes you have to go to great pains to get a few laughs. Well, it never hurts watching great plays unless they're against your team, so here goes. At second base for the Tigers, Lou Whitaker. Freelancing in center field for the Dodgers, Darryl Thomas. Back at second, Yankee anchorman Willie Randolph. Moving to left field, the Red Sox, Jim Rice. The Padres' new man at third, rookie Barry Evans. And at Minnesota, center fielder Willie Norwood. Finally, a true pro at first, the Cubs' Bill Buckner. How about that? Often when a player reaches a certain age, he's considered a bygone after one bad year. Jerry Koosman won just 3 games with the Mets all last year. Now with the Twins, Koos won 3 games without a loss in under 3 weeks. In Texas, Ferguson Jenkins won 4 games without a loss with a 1.42 ERA while ranking second in the league in strikeouts. A year ago, many experts figured he was washed up, but now Fergie can hang them all out to dry. As for clotheslines, Philadelphia's Greg Luzinski can hit them, but watch this projectile shot. The Bulls, the first visiting player ever to reach the 5th level of Pittsburgh's Three Rivers Stadium. And when it comes to long-range bombing, the Cubs' Dave Kingman can measure up to anyone. This blast against the Expos disappeared somewhere in the streets of Chicago's north side for a grand slam. In his first 12 games, Kingman hammered 5 home runs with 16 RBIs. He boosts the Cubs up. Relief ace Bruce Sutter calms the opposition down. This week's Gillette Special goes to Sutter for a near-perfect performance. 4 saves in 4 appearances, no runs allowed, and only 3 hits. Give him a lead, and Bruce Sutter tucks it away in his hip pocket. That's all for now, folks. See you next week on This Week in Baseball. And for you boys and girls, remember to sign up for baseball's pitch, hit, and run competition at your local Burger King restaurant.